Hey, bro, don't forget, it ain't the first 48, bro. It's 60 minutes, bro.
We heard a whole lot of lip service, but hey, anybody can do that. But between the lines,
come with the king, best not miss. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn at the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make like, who you with? You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked in Zone 32.
Well, so much for that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. There was some fuckery afoot, but we got a full crew in the building tonight. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is Trippy. His name is motherfucking Grant. Say what's up to the people.
It's episode 97, and you can still go.
It's my time to speak, motherfucker. Because it's episode 96. The Adalius Thomas episode.
It's
and
97.
Broderick Washington. Shout out. That was 96. It's 96. We did double J last week.
Yeah, it's definitely
Thomas.
96.
Shout out Broderick
I don't
Washington.
care. I've given up on life, so I don't really care.
Hey, Drew, I think you're thinking about the 97 episode because that was supposed to be, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl, not
It
this
was,
fucking.
but now it's not.
Jake, I have a creative note for you. Why don't you count down from 6 for how many fucking carries our running backs had on Sunday? Yeah,
Man, you're fucking right. When you're right, you're right. I should have fucking done that.
happens a lot.
I ain't starting that again because it's fucking time. So the AFC Championship happened. The Ravens hosted Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs at the bank. And you know what happened? They fucking lost. They played like defense came to play outside of some stupid penalties. But that being said, that was what it was. Offense got shut down. Then they shut themselves down mostly. Let's be honest. I don't need to break down the analysis because I got Drew, I got Grant, I got Will, and I got Trippy here. If I feel like interjecting, if y'all miss the point, then I will. But you know what? I'm changing it up because we're recapping a loss. Grant, you got a list of grievances.
He just called you a loser. He just said that you're our preeminent loser on the podcast, Grant. So
I felt like changing it up and going to the OG.
Hey,
he said it, not me.
I'm not going to take a victory lap on this because this game fucking sucked and I wish things turned out differently, but I've been trying to tell everybody about John Harbaugh. I'm tired of his
Hold on, real quick, Grant, before you say this. I'm a real man, right? And I'm accountable for my mistakes. So I want to apologize to you because you were right about John Harbaugh.
I'm not going to go that far because I will never give Grant credit for being correct. But if anybody else was trying to convince me to be anti-Harbaugh, I would give them credit. So take that forward.
But and the thing is I tried to tell everybody, like, I like the guy. Like, a lot of the trolling I do, like, oh man, fuck him, like, blah blah blah. Like I like the guy. He's a good person. He's a great locker room glue guy. But he's not a good coach. Like, he's a good training camp practice. I would say normally preparation, but man, the way he preps.
See, I don't even agree that he's not a good coach. It's that
in game. When I say coach, I mean in game. We win a lot of games with him. It's when the lights are the brightest, when you have to win, when you have to come out with an A+ game plan. It seems like he just comes up short. Well,
and
this
so
was
it's like in these, but we were talking about this.
This team this year should have been a Super Bowl win. This is one of the best teams we've ever had as an organization, top to bottom, and we completely underperformed. And I don't know if the lights were too bright. I don't know if there was too much of everybody hyping them up, but I don't think the Ravens have a locker room. They like the underdog mentality. But that game was just brutal, man. Just to completely abandon the run the way they did. And, when your rookie wide receiver gets one less carry than both of your running backs, you Dalvin Cook, who was a spark plug at the end of last week, you don't even get him on the field to see what was the point of bringing him in? That's useless. And I can't imagine the EDC would be happy about the usage or even just trying to see what the potential would be for next year. And we don't run the ball at all. And this has been a consistent thing. 3 coordinators 3 issues in the playoffs, all the same. Abandoning the run against the Titans, abandoning the run against the Chargers, Lamar's rookie year, abandoning the run this year. Like, you just dominated, and you were the number 1 rush defense in football, or rush offense in football. You're facing the worst rush defense in football. Bills just gashed them, and you don't run. You're down 7-0. You tie the game. Gus gets a 15-yard run and doesn't touch the ball for a quarter. Like that's malpractice, if anything. Like, that is just complete ignorance of
dereliction of duty.
It is. I mean, it's like it's what are you doing? And the fact that us as fans are sitting here and we know football, but we're not NFL coaches. Every analyst, quote unquote, on Twitter or X knows football in a sense, but
don't call it X. Don't call it X. It's not X.
Twitter. And you can't tell me that everybody collectively sees an issue and you can't adjust. If we didn't have Mike McDonald as our defensive coordinator, we would have gotten the doors blown off of us. But he made adjustments and he called a hell of a fucking game. Like,
yeah, he said Kyle Hamilton go crazy, and Kyle Hamilton
he did.
went crazy.
In the first quarter, the touchdown to Kelsey, that's like that throw was insane. Back hip, like falling down. The catch was like,
well, it did help.
That's an impossible.
It helped that Kyle Van Noy was being fucking raped.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's just. I want to get this out of the way now before we start talking. This crying about the ref shit is the most fucking aggravating part of our fan base. The refs fucking sucked. There's no like ifs, and or buts about it.
Well, just to be clear, I'm not crying about the refs. I'm pointing out.
But it had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. We beat the shit out of ourselves.
We did,
but you're praying for a bailout at that point. The reason why we lost is because the Ravens abandoned the run and they did the same shit they've done in the last,
Okay, I had a tweet about this. I said, okay, if you take out that referee crew and you put in another one, I don't know if the outcome is different or not. I can tell you that there would be a lot of different calls made, though. Okay,
well,
I can promise you that.
We showed up to the field unprepared. We were not ready to play.
All of that's true.
Out of us.
All of that's true. But what I can tell you is that there were several blatant pass interferences that were not called. There were several.
Don't throw in triple coverage. Don't throw in triple coverage. Don't throw your wide receivers in the end zone. Like, these are
okay.
Again, we can look at the refs.
You can. Okay, hold on. Let me finish. Listen, that triple coverage play you're talking about, fine. Take that one out. There were 3 other plays. Pass interference wasn't called. There were at least 3 plays where holding wasn't called. Travis Kelce taunted on every single fucking catch he made, and Zay gets called for taunting. So what I'm saying is, you substitute out that crew of referees and you put in a different one. A lot of calls go a different way. I'm not saying that the outcome of the game changes. What I'm saying is a lot of calls are different. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
We're looking at this because the Ravens lost, and so we are hyper focusing on.
No, I'm not hyper focusing. While I watched the game,
shitty calls. We were holding all day too. I'm sure.
While I watched the game, those are observations that I made.
Yeah, but they were observations that you made as a Ravens fan because shit was not going our way. I'm not telling you you're wrong. There were missed pass interference calls. I'm sure if you went and fucking looked at all of our defensive plays with a fine-tooth comb, we were probably fucking holding.
There was no fine-tooth combed. This was watching the game as a human watching the game. I wasn't I wasn't like pressing rewind. This was just watching the game. I was watching the game in real time.
I'm saying that if the Chiefs lost, I'm sure their fans would have found some magical moment where we interfered with somebody trying to catch a pass.
Once again, this is not me watching it with a fine-tooth comb, Drew.
You're watching it with purple tinted glasses because you're a Ravens fan.
No.
Yes.
No,
I see what more than you could say no. It doesn't change.
I see what Will's saying. Will's saying that not necessarily he's not bitching about the refs, but the calls were atrocious and the one-sidedness of them, like the Van Noy personal foul for bumping Kelsey when Kelsey had just fucking bumped Queen.
Never be the second guy. I mean,
but he didn't. But he didn't like. It was like
undisciplined football.
Drew, what you're doing right now is like you're just trying to like hedge it. Like, well, I'm not going to bitch about the refs because we lost.
Shit, the refs didn't fucking matter. We lost.
No, we beat ourselves.
We fucked up. We lost.
I'd say
I'm
our
not asking the
coaching
refs for a
staff
fucking
lost the
bail.
game.
Yeah,
Listen,
we played undisciplined, sloppy football.
Okay,
And we
that
lost.
is.
We said
there
that
are
last week that we can't put it in the rough hands, and that's what we
Yeah,
basically
we
did.
did.
Right. Listen, there are a number of things that can be true all at one time. This game was a 7-point game, and there are a number of things that can be true all at the same time. One of the things that is true, this referee crew called the game in one direction. Can we agree on that?
Death, taxes, and referees fucking up. Like, these are three inevitables in life.
Fucking up for the right team.
For one team. For one team.
You're not going to get me to say that the refs were good.
I don't need you to. Awful. Hey, can I get everyone else to say it? Because because I know what you're going to say, because you have one particular guy who's on your ass about it, and you don't want him to clip you.
Oh, say names. Hold on. Who?
Trans memes. You don't want him to clip you.
You think he listens? Hold on. Do you think he listens to this one? I said nothing about the refs.
He will, because he wants to clip you. But
Grant, you're afraid of a small Muslim man in Massachusetts.
I'm not. I don't give a fuck about him.
Fuck the refs. They suck. We still got our asses.
He was on your ass all day. Grant, you know what I'm saying. You know I'm right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And the other thing too is, like, with us, the obvious is Zay scores the touchdown. We win that game. We're down 17-14 with 14 and some over I think it was like 14 and a half left. Right. In the fourth. They didn't score the whole second half. We had the number one defense. They had 5 first downs, averaged like 3.3 yards per play or whatever it was.
They scored they scored that second touchdown with 9 minutes left in the second quarter.
And this is this is what I'm saying with the refs. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. We were 14 inches away from scoring a touchdown that would have tied the game ultimately, right? So when you're talking about, I could probably count 10 different calls that were very questionable, if not obvious, that were bad, if not completely wrong. Okay, so you overturn 1, 2, 3 of those 10 calls. You're talking about.
Did Zay Flowers taunt L'Jarius Sneed? Yes or no?
Did Jason I say Jason?
Yeah, that's not what I asked. It's a yes or no question. Did Zay Flowers taunt L'Jarius Sneed?
Yes. Did Travis Kelce?
So it was the right call. So
did Travis Kelce taunt?
Yes.
10 different fucking times.
Yeah, but they didn't call it.
Okay, so that's the point. That's what. Okay,
but they made the right call. He taunted L'Jarius Sneed.
And did they make the wrong call 10 times?
So that's undisciplined slot. No, they made a no call. They didn't make the call 10 times.
Okay, so they made the right call 1 time and they made the wrong call 10 times.
Yeah, but so why are you mad at them for making the right call? You should be mad at the 10 calls that they didn't make. But
I just said they made 10 wrong calls.
No, they made no calls. They didn't make a call there.
That's the wrong call.
On Todd Martin. See what's going on? If Todd Martin would have just fucking stuck to the fucking ball, ran the ball, we would not be going through this.
But we're talking about how John Harbaugh.
But was it Todd? But my thing is, and this is back to Harbaugh, was it Todd though? That wasn't Todd's script. I mean, I refuse to believe that was his script.
I don't know.
I don't know whose fucking script it was, but it was dog shit. Should have been lit on fire.
The way how he walked out that stadium, bro, something wasn't right. That's why I'm still stuck.
That's a John Harbaugh special. That's a John Harbaugh playoff special.
And that's what I'm saying.
They probably had different scripts for the game, and he probably stuck to the short to intermediate script and completely abandoned the run and just went to. They should have been 12 personnel the whole fucking game.
They should have been. We talked about
or 22. They should have been fucking 22.
Your offensive line is getting fucking dog walked every play, and you have Pat retired, and you don't play him.
Right.
Well, you put fucking Justice Hill in on pass protection downs. He got smoked almost every time they blitzed up the middle.
Well, the worst thing that happened was. The Chiefs got the ball first because they went down the field and scored. And I guarantee you what happened was they went down the field and scored. And John
got the ball first.
We got the ball first.
I was about to say, no,
I'm sorry.
So
we got the ball first and we went 3 and out. And then John got on his headset and goes, "Hey, Todd. Oh, Todd, they scored. We gotta go pedal to the metal, man. We gotta throw the ball. We gotta keep up, man." And then it was
that fumble. It was that fumble. And then we were looking at 28-7 in the face because if they scored that drive and they got the ball back to start the second half, like you're looking at potentially being out 28-7. Kyle Hamilton makes a fucking great stop on that 4th down. And they were like, oh, we're living on borrowed time and played like they were down 21 points.
Yeah. So, okay.
It was the most fucking bizarre thing in the world.
So what we were talking about this before we started recording. And you have Greg Roman. People can't see this. Obviously, we don't do video for the podcast yet.
They can screenshot it so you can see. I owe him an apology.
Yeah, we owe Greg Roman an apology for the Titans game because we always thought Greg Roman fucked up and he abandoned the script in 2019 in that Titans game. But now I think we know who really panicked after the Mark Andrews tip ball interception. And it was not Greg Roman. It was John Harbaugh because the same fucking thing happened this past week. The exact same thing happened.
Yep. It's undisciplined. It's stupid. And again, it's the whole, there was 31 minutes left in that, or I'm sorry, 39 minutes left in that game after they scored the second touchdown.
Yeah.
And we're playing like we're 2-minute drill the entire game.
Yeah. Well, the big difference between 2019 and this and this past Sunday was
we were down much bigger in 2019.
Yeah, exactly. We were chasing, and that was that was our own creation because we played even though that game was still not out of reach really until we made it that way. But this game we played like it was the Tennessee game, but the defense shut them down. Like you said, like they scored that they put it to 17-7, right? 17-7. Yeah, 17-7 with 9 minutes left in the second quarter, and then they never scored again.
Well, no, 14-7.
14-7.
14-7.
So
okay,
they kicked the field goal right before halftime.
Our offense played that bad, and we only gave up 17 points.
The defense played unfucking believable.
They did. They were lights out. That's why Mike goes, we're fucked.
Oh,
first two drives of the game, they put together, it was like 16 plays, 161 yards, and 14 points. And then after that, it was 9 drives, and it was 198 yards. Some of that was penalty yards and 3 points.
You know what? You know what play really broke our backs was first it looked like Mahomes was about to get sacked, and then he threw the ball up, and it was like almost end over.
The fourth down to Kelsey.
He threw it and it was like end over end. So when the wobbler came out, and I'm like, oh my God, the wobbler. I'm like, someone's going to pick this off. It's going to be Kyle Hamilton's going to come out of nowhere. Maybe Geno Stone's lurking or Marcus Williams, someone. Maybe it's going to be Patrick Queen. I don't know. We got so many guys, right? Someone has got to pick this off. This thing's a fucking fluttering butterfly. There's no way, or it's just going to hit the ground. And somehow fucking Travis Kelce catches the ball. What the fuck? What is going on here? Like this just does not happen against this defense. When that happened, I was like.
But I mean, we said this last week during the podcast. I know I specifically said, and I think you and Grant did too. Like Mahomes is going to have a couple plays where you're just like, well, you throw your arms up and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and don't let it happen again.
That was the one.
That was the what the fuck play.
That
and
was
it didn't
the one.
hurt us. Like that's exactly what we said to win the game. Those plays can't hurt you. You can't turn the ball over, and you have to, consistently score. And we turned the ball over and didn't consistently score. That's really all. It was just a completely undisciplined, stupid, fucking wrong approach to the game. And I don't know if that's Harbaugh. I don't know if that's Monken. I don't know if it's both of them. I don't know how much you blame Lamar for it. You can look at all the screenshots and the stills and the fucking video clips on Twitter of there were times that he could have taken off in the pocket and run. Regardless, the end result was the same thing that we've seen multiple times in the playoffs. I have not been a fire Harbaugh guy pretty much ever. I find the fire Harbaugh people to be genuine, retarded for the most part.
You're welcome.
Right, but the people who are, spouting the fire Harbaugh shit on Twitter typically do not have stats to back up what they're saying. That they're just spewing off fire Harbaugh because, I don't know, we got our fucking doors blown off. And, that's not his fault. That shit happens. Bad games happen.
A lot of fans only want Harbaugh gone because they felt like Lamar saved his job. That's the only reason why. And they felt like
to an extent, he did.
He did.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah.
That's not why I wanted him gone.
That's not wrong. That's not wrong. Yeah.
If you look at Harbaugh's entire 15-year career here, he's got a borderline 16,
I think, right?
2000. Yeah. So 2008 season counts as one. So 16. He's got a borderline Hall of Fame resume. We win a bunch of games. He's got a great regular season record. He's been to, won a bunch of playoff games. He's won a Super Bowl. The last decade or so, the playoff success has not been there. But the problem with Harbaugh is that good things come to an end eventually. And I'm not saying like, kick him out on the streets and this guy fucking sucks ass, but like clearly it's just not working. Like it's very clear that when we get into these must-win games, we throw up duds more often than not.
Yep.
We win them in the regular season, we don't win them in the playoffs. And like you just can't do that anymore. And I get the arguments of, well, he's been a great head coach. Like, yeah, Brian Billick was a great head coach too. And then we got rid of him. We moved on.
Yeah.
His leash was a lot shorter than Harbaugh's has been.
And his leash was a lot shorter because he was brought in to be an offensive guru, and he never was an offensive guru. And I feel like Harbaugh's almost had his job saved by the fact that he's come in and not really had a specialty. Like he's just always been this like CEO. And as CEO, we've had multiple, fairly successful years.
He's a culture builder.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had a good culture. We've won a lot of regular season games. We did win a ring. We've had a lot of, like high-end talent. We've developed a lot of, late draft picks into these like star players.
Right.
And so these things have
he was fortunate enough to come in and have Hall of Famers in the building.
Right. He had a soft landing spot.
Yeah.
He had Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, and Ed Reed. And like a lot of coaches would kill for that kind of talent on a defense. And we're not even talking about like the Haloti Nadas of the world and the fucking, the unsung heroes that we had. But we have continually done this every year. We have this team that is good enough to compete, and then they show up in the playoffs and they fall short. And like at some point you have to put that on Harbaugh, because if you're giving him credit for building that culture that builds up these low draft picks, that always has a great defense no matter how many moving parts there are, that has, until Lamar came around, got away with bad offenses for the most part, and just good enough to get you to the playoffs. And now we have this like excellent offense. We squandered too many opportunities. We squandered 2019. We squandered 2023. We squandered 2020 and 2021. But those were like Lamar got hurt. Shit happened. Whatever. Like I guess you can give him a pass for that. But at some point, you have to just say the culture is not winning you any Super Bowls. And like, thanks for your time, John. You've done a great job here, but we need to take it to that next level.
Well, and like the culture, and it's like, thank you very much for the culture. Hey, not only that, like you actually have cultivated the next head coach. He's right here in the building, and we can't let him walk out the door. So we're going to make him the head coach now. And we don't want you to leave either. So here's a spot for you to move into. Everything is kind of lined up for continuity.
We've talked about this. Joe Ortiz leaving to go with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers has given you this, I would say, like a premier opening in the front office that would keep Harbaugh involved.
Yeah, a great succession plan for everybody to things to really just exactly.
Mike's name's never been hotter. Like you're gonna lose him to, I would assume, the Commanders if you don't do something,
which would be honestly
tragic.
Oh my God, to lose Mike would be horrible, no matter where he goes. But to lose him to that fucking garbage franchise,
the only silver lining to him going to Washington over Seattle would be that we know the Commanders are a fucking train wreck and he might be back on the market in 3 years. That's only like,
honestly, I believe that Mike Macdonald is the next head coach of the Ravens either way. So if he leaves and goes to the Commanders, and
that he comes back,
and John is still the head coach, then I think if John retires in a couple years, then Mike leaves the Commanders and comes back and becomes the Ravens head coach, because the Ravens is a premier head coaching destination.
It is, but like you send him to Washington and you don't really know what happens. So to rewrite ancient history here, people called him a nepotism hire when we took him back from Michigan. The people, I'm looking at you, Grant, even though I can't see you on my screen right now. The reality is that older brother lent him to little brother because we needed him to learn how to call defensive plays, and he needed to get his feet wet and he needed to get some on the job training there. And then when we had an opening at defensive coordinator, we took him back. Like that was clearly all part of the game plan. But you were also loaning him somewhere where, again, like older brother can bully little brother and take his shit away. And you have the allure of, oh yeah, you're a college defensive coordinator, but come, step back to the big leagues and do it. That doesn't exist if he goes to Washington. If he has success in Washington, he's not just going to walk away from Washington and come back here. So you no longer have control over that situation.
As much as I think he's probably going to leave, because I feel like we're going to just stick with Harbaugh, he would be crazy to leave. Like, he's still young. Like, he's in a great position. Pay him. Pay him like a top end, almost like a low end head coach, maybe like a first year head coach. Like, but pay him and keep him on staff for at least another year. He would be smart to do that because he's finally sustaining the defense. He's got the defense rolling right now. It's going to be an attractive destination to free agents. He's already got a lot of his key pieces. I think Mads has to come back. Dude had 13 pressures the other night from the interior.
He's gonna get franchise tagged.
Give him the associate head coach title.
Yeah.
So Grant, you're a coach, so I think you can probably comment on this better. Like, you like your current coaching situation?
Yes,
I'm sure. Okay, somebody calls you and says, "Here's triple your salary, and you're in charge." Even if you like your current, there's at some point you kind of have to look at this and say, this is my next stepping stone. And the allure of Washington is that he's not really uprooting his life. Like, if he has moved people into this area.
I think it comes down to the situation, though. I think it comes down to
the rumor is that he likes
where I'm at right
roster.
now. Where I'm at right now, if it was something to where that would happen, what would they offer me for future? Like, if I'm wanting to be somewhere, I'm loyal. I'd want to be there. Mike McDonald's a very loyal dude. Like, you can tell, like, he eats, sleeps, breathes football. He's a very loyal dude.
We gave him a start.
He does everything the right way. Like, he's a student of the game. He nerds out, and that's why he's getting the McVay comparisons. Like, people make fun of McVay because
horrible comparison for the record.
Whatever. He's innovative, but he's an innovative dude. He's cerebral. Like, he tries to change the game, and that's what Mike McDonald does defensively. And like I've mentioned before, the way that the game is adjusting and gravitating to, especially with the way the game's called, he's innovative in a sense that he has positionless football, which is, I'm a firm believer of positionless football. Your D-line should be able to play every D-line position. Your linebacker should play every linebacker position, safety, so on and so on. You need to be able to do that because you have to mask so many different coverages, because any Joe Schmo, like, I sat in the stands at the Texans game and I called every single coverage that was coming out. I'm like, oh, they're in man. Oh, they're too high. Oh, they're rolling to 3. Oh, they're playing under. Like, if I can see that from the stands, that it's an easy adjustable thing when you have film and stuff out. So you have to have a guy that can be able to adjust in game and be able to minimize the most they can do. And he's that guy. Like, and it's a gift. It's not something every coach can do, but it's a gift. And he's a guy that's special. And you see it in him. Everybody sees it in him. I joked around about the nepotism stuff. I didn't know him. And then the more that I looked at what he did defensively with the hybrid stuff, and like, he thinks defensively like I think defensively. Like, I have not disagreed with the dude. Like,
you wanted him dead. You wanted him dead after the Bills game this first year.
Huh?
You wanted him murdered out in the streets after the Bills game.
No, I wanted Jerome Boger. I wanted Jerome Boger.
You wanted him dead after the Miami game, and then after the Bills game, you were calling for his head. And you didn't like him to start because I liked him. That's fine.
That was a lot. No, the Miami game wasn't him. The Miami game was corners getting cooked, letting Tyreek Hill run straight by him. But anyways, he's a different type of coach. He's somebody that's like that could keep an organization. If we lose him, we're going to lose players, we're going to lose position coaches, and it's going to be key position coaches. And it's going to be, people think, oh yeah, we got Lamar, we got Rowe, we got this, we got that. But a coaching staff is the most important part of a football team. Like, you don't see people that have been winners and winners and winners have shitty coaching staffs. It just doesn't happen. You have to be able to set people up for success. John Harbaugh, it doesn't do that. We've seen his cap. We've seen where he's at. Nothing's changed in the past decade. With the
only thing I would disagree with is
the front office he's had everything at his disposal, and he can't get it done.
Bruce Arians won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. And that guy's a fucking moron. Like, if we're being honest here.
He's a quarterback guru, dude.
He had Tom Brady. Like, that's not being a quarterback guru.
Brady at 40 isn't. I mean, he was great. He was good.
But look who he was throwing to. My point is that you can hide coaching. You can hide coaching. You can hide coaching is what I'm saying.
Not as much as you can hide a bad player.
Not as easily as you can hide a bad player, but you still can. If we put a super team together and had me coaching it, I'm sure it would be fine.
I feel like if we lose Mike, I agree with Grant. Like, I feel like if we lose Mike, I already know we're going to lose, like, defensive. I mean, we're going to lose a lot of players, but I feel like we fucked.
Well, I mean, Clowney's probably not coming back. Van Noy's probably not coming back. I think you're going to kind of force Matabike's hand with a franchise tag, so he'd stay.
If he's not tagged, he's going with Mac.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to give him much of an option, and that's like the smart move. But I mean, I don't think you're going to see Patrick Queen come back. I don't think you're going to see Geno Stone come back. Like, you're not going to see any of those guys come back. If you don't promote Anthony Weaver, which I don't think is the right move, I think Zach Orr is the right move to replace Mike at defensive coordinator. Anthony Weaver's going to go somewhere else because he's been passed over now twice for the defensive coordinator job. Like, he's going to be pissed off. He can go take a defensive line job somewhere else. So, yeah, you're going to lose a ton of staff. You're going to lose a ton of players.
He's going to be in DC somewhere.
I actually think last offseason, a lot of
he'd go with Mike.
Yeah, but like a lot of the fans' discussion was that EDC and Harbaugh both sucked and they both had to go. And it was a lot of vitriol at both of them. If this season proved anything, it's that EDC was never the problem.
Never.
And I'll be the first. I mean, I trolled the whole cookies thing and gave him shit and all that stuff. And like I said,
well, he had some bad draft picks, but I mean, who doesn't? I think the problem was that.
Well, but some of those drafts that people shit on, now those drafts look great. Some of those drafts. Just to be clear. By the way, since we started recording, it's now out there that AJ Brown is looking like he's going to get traded this offseason.
I said that.
AJ Brown.
He wants.
I don't want him. I don't want him.
Why?
He's a dude.
Is we going to use him? Like, let's be for real. Is we going to use him?
I get what you're saying.
You feel me, Grant? Like, why I keep bringing in receivers? Like, look what we did with Odell. Is we going to use him? Like,
is AJ Brown the same as 30-year-old Odell with one ACL?
No. But the question is, if we're going to use him,
get rid of Bateman and Odell and bring in AJ Brown.
That's so. I would like to bring Odell back. I think, regardless of who else we bring in.
Back.
Hey, hello.
I want Nelson Aguilar back too.
I want Nelson Aguilar back. It's really.
I want
Bateman
Nelly. I for sure want Nelly. Yeah, I'm a big Nelly guy, but so I was with Trippy at Gate C, and when I saw Nelly pull in the Rolly, my God, that vehicle.
It's got a lot of money.
That motherfucker was hard as shit.
And back to the EDC thing, like most of the trolling shit was a bit in riding it out. I was disappointed with what he had done up to that point and the lack of. I felt like he could have utilized more resources to bring in things to change the game for Lamar, and he completely did everything I ever wanted to do this year.
I have to wonder if that's a learning curve.
It's not him. It's Harbaugh, and it never was him. I think he's in a tough position too. I think the whole, we joke about like them being neighbors, and like I think he's in a tough position because it's not his call, it's Steve's call. And I think that I don't know if Steve's very loyal and Steve loves Harbaugh.
I would guess.
I
would guess if you put a gun to EDC's head, and I'm not advocating doing that, but if you made him choose what his next, path would be, it would be Harbaugh to the front office, because you do want a lot of things that Harbaugh brings to the table around the organization. So
absolutely,
I really don't want John to leave. I don't want
him. Make him the Ravens locker room speaker.
Yeah, it was easy to fire
What the
Billick.
fuck is that?
I don't know. He's good.
What does that even mean?
He gives good speeches.
I want if that's a thing, then make Trippy that. Make Trippy the Ravens locker room speaker if that's a job.
Hello,
no,
Trippy.
but I think the reality is that like when you fired Brian Billick, like he had butted heads with Biscotti before he there were issues. Biscotti. Till they win a Super Bowl, I'm not going to pronounce his name any differently. Just it is what it is. Steve, you want me to pronounce your name right? I know you're an avid listener of the Zone 32 podcast. You win a Super Bowl, and I'll consider pronouncing your name the way that Will thinks I should. Spelled the same way as the
ring in 2012, didn't he?
I mean, now it's been 12 years or 11 years. 12 years, 11 years, whatever, however fucking long it's been.
Another one.
By the way, if a Super Bowl is won, I think Drew needs to show everybody the video of the last time a Super Bowl was won. Him celebrating.
I'll commit to that. I'll put that on the internet.
He showed me a very provocative video of the last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl. He showed it to me. It was wild.
Yeah,
it was wild.
But regardless, like
he was in New Orleans.
It was crazy.
No, I was like 22. I was a kid. We know him.
It was in his friend's basement.
Damn, we
No,
was
it's
that
his
young. I
attic.
was 23. Wow.
They're listening.
He
So
said
they're-
was his attic. We got fucking Lemony Snickets over here.
it's a finished attic. They have a lot of money. They're good people. They listen avidly. So
Attic and basement's the same fucking thing.
no, it's an attic.
One's
It's a
top, one's
It's a
bottom.
storage space. Whatever.
It's really
Well,
not
look,
an attic. It's a second floor. It's like it's a big room that they just finished to be
Okay.
fucking.
They
Can I
converted
ask
it into a loft, right?
Can I
No,
ask a
it's I mean
question,
it's
though?
literally like right next to somebody's bedroom. Go ahead.
There you go.
I want to ask a serious question, right? Like, and this is no troll. Well, I'm talking like I'm on Twitter talking about this ain't no trolling shit. I'm tripping. But like, let's be honest. Like, let's be real. Like, how we really bounce back from this though? Because like,
How are we
you
going to
know-
bounce back from 2011? That's my only thing is that like until we actually see it happen, like we don't know how it's going to work out. I have faith in EDC putting a roster together that's going to be a competitor and going to win, and it's going to come down to physically playing the games and seeing what actually happens.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I talked to Lacey yesterday, so Monday, right? Day after the game, and Eric was already at the Senior Bowl. So, I mean, it was business as usual. They're on to the next thing. I trust EDC to keep the train moving. We got a lot of free agents. I think Matabike's got to be the priority. I know Queen wants to be back. I don't know if that's possible. Both of them
staring down the barrel of an $80 million contract. I don't know how bad he wants to be back, and that's nothing against him because again, if you're looking at $50 million in Baltimore and $80 million somewhere else, like it's real hard to look a guy in the face and say take $30 million less and come back.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I know he wants to be back. Yeah. I'm not sure that. Right. I know he would like to be back, but again, like I said, I don't know that it's possible on his end or our end. So,
and let me say this now: if Queen does walk, we do everything we can to go get Peyton Wilson from NC State.
Well,
he's the next Luke Kuechly.
What? Why? When we got Trent Simpson? Hello?
Yeah, we got Trenton Simpson, man.
Simpson.
But he's a different role. I'm telling you, this dude.
We got Ross. You make Ross put on the neck roll.
Yeah, they said the same shit about
Wilson is
Tavares Good. Remember when we drafted him?
Yeah.
Remember? No shot to Josh Ross. What happened to Josh Ross? I thought he was the next. You know
I want to shout out Pedro too. Pedro, our Brazilian friend. He had some interesting roster moves laid out. Some cuts and restructures today that cleared off like $44 million in cap space. So
Mo Lamar Heisman also cleared out like $96 million. So
I don't know. Mo, I don't know if I trust his math.
His math was right. I checked it because that was the first thing I was going to do is be like, Mo, learn math, pal. But no, he was dead right. I don't think their moves were going to make, but
but everything that Pedro said were moves that weren't like crazy moves. So
the real question is Ronnie. Is what do you do with Ronnie?
Yeah, so so Pedro's solution with Ronnie was a restructure, not a cut. So
do you want to restructure him?
So that was like that was my question too. And it's like and even with that, with Pedro's solution, his what at the end of his his series of moves, it was $44 million cleared with only $3 million in dead money. So the alternative would be with a Ronnie move. If we did a cut, I think it would be like a post June 1 designation. I think it's like
18 mil, but then you have
I was gonna say like 10 mil.
Yeah. Isn't it like 18 million in savings with 10 million in dead cap?
Something like that. It's
something like
10 to 12 mil, somewhere in that range.
I think him and Marlon should restructure their contract.
So Marlon is one that I hated the video. This is old man yells at clouds. I've said the same thing about his podcast. It makes no sense, but like I hated the fucking video with Geno Stone. Like it was so infuriating to see him happy while I was like ready to punch holes in my wall. I also understand that he's
leaving.
Yeah,
I ain't
just
fucking leaving.
It's like dude, he just seems so fucking tone deaf sometimes. But the reality is that he had a down year because he was hurt. Right. You're paying him like a top 5 corner. You probably got a top 15 corner performance out of him when healthy, but he was also hurt. So you can drop him down to 25 or 30th, whatever you want to call that. If he's willing to restructure, like as long as he's healthy the whole year, you're going to get that top 5 corner performance out of him.
Yeah.
Like he proved that. So This whole, the knee-jerk reaction to Twitter was to trade him. I'm not really interested in that.
No, me neither. I want Marlon on the roster. I want Marlon here.
It's really when you're looking at the roster.
I think he needs a restructure, though.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I think Marlon is a pretty real dude, and I think
he's
to see probably willing to do that.
I would like to see what his numbers were on.
You say he a very weird dude?
Real.
If
you approach Marlon and said, look, buddy, like, fucking, you can't buy your 40th pair of AirPods this year, and you can't buy a 17th dog, like, restructure. I think he'd be okay with that. But I would be curious to look at his numbers of an extension versus a restructure, see what kind of works better there,
right?
Like cap wise. I think Morgan Moses is a guy that's, in that kind of same thing of cut or extension. Like, depending on how the draft goes, he's kind of a guy you wait till after the draft and see kind of what you have.
Right.
And, maybe you tack another year or two onto his contract. He's fine. You're paying him like a middle of the road right tackle, and he gives you a little bit better than a middle of the road right tackle
performance.
Gives you a little bit better than that. Tyus Bowser's gone.
Oh, he's definitely gone.
Easily.
I don't know if I want to break the news on the podcast, but like I'm waiting for the news to drop of why he didn't play this year.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to be honest that it didn't drop yet.
With Marlon is a guy who reminds me of Lardarius Webb, where I think he's a guy who could stick around here his whole career and eventually transition into like a safety type of a player.
So I would say Jimmy Smith, but just because Marlon
Jimmy
is
Smith,
significantly better than Webb.
Yeah, but I just mean the type of player he is.
I agree.
Yeah, but the type of player he is, he can change into a safety later because he's a physical guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I think he's like he is very much like bought into the culture here. So I think he will be willing to restructure or extend, and I think he will be.
He don't even like his fans, man.
I got a baseball comparison for Marlon, and I lived through this. So he's the Manny Ramirez of the Ravens.
Yeah.
You dealt with the Manny being Manny when he was hitting 40 home runs and batting 320 and driving in 140 runs. And the second that stopped, when he threw a 90-year-old man down the stairs, you got rid of him. And so I think you put Marlon on that same kind of plan. You do everything possible to keep him here. And if he assaults a 90-year-old traveling secretary, you send him packing. But that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No,
he doesn't really have that violent streak to him that Manny had.
Yeah, and with Morgan, I think you rather than restructure, you do extend him because you can kind of I think you can basically graduate him to like a depth piece.
Right. If Morgan Moses is your starting right tackle day one, that's fine. And if Falele takes a step forward or you draft somebody and Morgan Moses is your I don't know, whatever you call him, swing tackle, sixth offensive lineman, you're also in good shape.
Yep.
And it's not going to cost you a ton of money. I think his cap hit next year is like $7 million.
Right.
So, I mean, if you just kind of, give him another 2 years, $10 million or $12 million and push some of that money down the road, you're fine.
Yeah.
Same thing with Makari. I do wish Makari's back was not an issue because I feel like he could be a starting guard or tackle, and he'd probably be better than Simpson or Moses, but he can't physically take the beating of playing a full year. So I definitely get the whole way we manage him. John Simpson's gone, but you have have Voorhees, and
I think Voorhees. I think he's going.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah,
I'm excited for him.
And then you do still have Saleh and Ben Cleveland potentially. Ben Cleveland looked good at right guard this year, which was stunning to me. But for whatever reason, you play him on that one side of the ball, and he can, like all of a sudden knows how to play football.
And is Zeitler
free agent, I believe?
Okay, I'd like to see him back.
Yeah, and again, I don't think he's a guy towards the end of his career. He played very well this year. I don't think he's going to be looking for fucking $20 million a year.
No,
like just take care of him. He's fine. Linderbaum is legit. It's left tackle is the real question. And again, same thing as Harbaugh. Like, thanks, Ronnie. You were great for a period of time. You're no longer the same guy anymore. Like, go away, And it's not from like a disrespectful thing. It's not your fault that TJ Watt rolled up on your ankle, a week after you signed your extension. Nobody could have seen that coming. It wasn't a bad move by EDC to lock him up for the dollar amount that he did. but it hasn't worked. He's not been worth the money, and just cut your losses and move on.
Right.
And if cutting your losses and moving on is a post-June 1 cut, fine. If it's trading him for a conditional 6th round pick or whatever the fuck we figure out somebody wants him for, fine. Just fucking do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off and move on.
Yeah, because we cannot keep. We are putting a the biggest investment we've ever made as an organization in great danger by letting Ronnie Stanley protect his blind side every week.
Yeah, it's not working out. And I said it to VD last week. VD's like, Stanley played really good last week, and I'm like, yeah. So now we're due for a couple. Remember me? I'm actually washed Ronnie Stanley moments, and we got plenty of those. So I'm done with the Ronnie Stanley experiment. It worked for a while.
I said it during the game. It was a wet day. I said Ronnie Stanley remembered he'd rather be home, snuggled under his blankie, watching a rom-com.
He's, anime watching nerd from Notre Dame, and we need a fucking.
That was unnecessary.
Why? Notre Dame only lets smart kids. Am I wrong? They have these like weird academic standards. Like,
they do. You're right.
I want a fucking moron playing left tackle. Give me some.
Well,
fucking
Teo, he wasn't that smart.
He was pretty smart. He carried on that whole catfish scheme for a while until he got caught. So I don't know. I would say that he's maybe like a savant.
No,
there are other people among.
He didn't know. That's what he was a nerd.
No, he figured it out. He figured it out, and he didn't tell anybody, and he faked her death instead of admitting that he was wrong.
I just hope we bring Arthur Millette back and Ronald Darby.
Yeah, again,
Darby was very impressive. He played pretty well.
Yep.
On Sunday too.
I did, and I really did like Arthur Millette starting fights with the Chiefs before the game too. I like that fire.
I don't know if we want to talk about it, but fuck Mahomes and Travis Kelce for that little shit they pulled with Tucker. I wish Tucker kicked one of them in the fucking face. That would have been totally worth not having Justin Tucker for that game if he just fucking drop kicked one of them.
Did you see what Mahomes was saying now?
Yeah.
Something about like it was putting him in danger. Was that a real quote or was that a fake quote?
No. So Mahomes is saying it's only ever in his entire career happened 3 times that the kicker has like set up in their space, and it's all 3 times been Tucker.
Good. Fuck you, Patrick.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Fuck you.
I think they was trying to do that shit to try to get him ejected or something. You know how they try. I don't know.
But no,
he was
like those two are so unlikable. Like
straight bitches.
Travis Kelce is Pat McAfee. They're the same person.
Bitch.
But no,
his father was on Ravens walk. Well, I think he walked passes and shit.
Who?
Travis Kelce.
Pat Mahomes' father.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes' dad was like in Ravens tailgates. Saw a bunch of pictures.
Oh, really?
He played Major League Baseball. I don't know if anybody knew that or not, but I
figured. Trip. Let's do a little recap of our morning together.
Oh man!
I met up with Trip at Gate C. We did a little bit of Trippy's normal pregame.
Yelling at people.
Yeah. Yelling at not yelling, but greeting people. I would say greeting players and coaches.
Yeah. Get him in the zone.
We met up with some YouTubers. I don't know who these people were. Trippy, who were those people?
One of them was football. I'm waiting for him to send me the videos. I'm gonna send them to you. Do football. He asked. Matter of fact, I don't like. Remember when Drewski did that roll tide or something? Remember the dude say piss something? They was the ones that made that video. Yeah, that was them that came up with that video.
Okay.
And I met them. They hit me on YouTube. I mean, I say YouTube. They hit me on Instagram, said they was coming through. I said, come through with the content. That was a good ass time, though. I was fucked up.
Yeah. So one of those guys had a bottle of E&J, and Trippy was like, who's got the drinks? This guy had this water bottle, like a Poland Spring bottle full of E&J. And Trippy's like, let me get that. Next thing I know, Trippy drank the whole goddamn thing. So we're walking around. Trippy is fucked up.
See, this is why I'm smarter than Will. I had somebody bring Trippy Miller Lights, not
man.
Well, so then we're trying to meet up with Jack Settleman and Spenny and Cole and Jake. So we go down to Lot H, and Spenny tells me, he says, "Yeah, we're in Lot H. We have a flag." And there's a black dude sitting on a couch. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that should be easy to find. If we go down there, there's fucking 15 different tailgates with flags. So I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm walking
we was
around.
walking all over the place.
Yeah, I'm walking everywhere. So then I go on Jack Settleman's Twitter, and he says lot H2 under the underpass. So I go under the underpass. There's so many fucking tailgates under there, right? So we're walking and walking and walking and walking. Suddenly, then Jack finds Trippy. So then we're with Jack, right? So we're hanging out with Jack for a little bit, talk to him. He tells us, hey, they're over there. So they're over there in the mud. And I'm like, in the mud? What is he talking about? So
Yeah.
Trippy does a phone call, like a FaceTime call on Twitter with Cole. And Cole says, yeah, we're over by the railroad tracks. Like, what the fuck? Spenny's throwing a party. Literally. Like this is like Always Sunny or something. Like, he's like Charlie Kelly throwing a fucking party, like on the railroad tracks, under an underpass next to the railroad tracks. So we go over there. We meet up with Cole. We talk to him for a little bit. Cole's a little guy. He's like 5'5". Okay.
I don't know if you can call people little guys, but
I mean, I'm like 5 inches taller than Cole easily. I mean, Trippy is with me. And just to be clear, Trippy, we spent the whole morning together. You're like 1 inch taller than me. Yeah. I don't know what this narrative is about me being small, but I mean,
that's fine. Short people tend to get defensive when you call them short. It's okay.
I'm just saying, Trippy, we spent the whole morning together. We're about the same size. So anyway.
Hey, Drew, we're good. We're good.
So Cole brought this Canadian man with him who's like 6'6". It was like it was comical. It was like Scrappy Doo and Scooby Doo. This fucking guy, and the guy's name was like Myron or some weird ass name. He was like, "This is my friend Myron." I was like, "What the fuck?"
His name was probably like Mark, and Cole was just like intoxicated to the point that he couldn't pronounce it or something.
No. The guy, he was like, "Hello, my name is Myron." It was like, "Hey, hello."
Canadians.
Yeah, he was like the most polite guy I've ever met in my life. So very tall Canadian man named Myron. So then I was like, yeah, where's Spenny? He's like, he's over there. I go to walk over. I swear to God, it was like the La Brea tar pits. I was about to walk in. It was, if I had walked into it, I would have sunk into it and never come out. It was like a fucking pool.
Yeah, your shoes would have been fucked up.
Of mud. I would have sunk into it and just disappeared. So I was like, not gonna go in. I don't even know how these motherfuckers got out of it and actually went into the game.
Yeah, that shit was nasty.
So is that your when is the last time you went to like a tailgate or something for a Ravens game, like at the stadium?
I've never been down in that area to go to tailgate. I always, anytime I was at.
Is it your fault? Did you throw off the vibes? Did you slip John Harbaugh a play sheet that said run the ball 6 times? So it's your fault.
Well, no, I mean every time I've been to a tailgate, it's been like on the other side of the railroad tracks, up by the stadium.
Up by the stadium. Yeah.
Is you not partying in the mud similar to Brian not jumping in the harbor now?
Dude, I'm not gonna walk through the mud in my Jordans. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, we're asking Brian to jump in the fucking inner harbor, and you won't step in some mud. I just
you know what? If I was wearing pilgrim shoes, I would have walked through the mud because those things.
Take your shoes off.
I think we should.
They're built for the wilderness.
Through the mud. Brian promised to jump into the harbor if we drafted Kyle Hamilton.
Still waiting on that motherfucker to jump in the harbor.
Yo, this mud was like this was serious mud. This was pilgrim mud.
Why didn't you?
I think we should have walked on the other side. That's what I think we should have did.
We got to get Kyle to hype him up to get like.
Remember we was trying to meet Lil Key,
apparently once you got past the initial like mud entrance, they had tarps that people were on, and Spenny was like. People like women were jumping on his back and he was having to like be like a ferry to like bring them over to where people were pissing. Like he was a taxi ferry to the area where people were pissing. It was horrible. It was horrible conditions.
Yeah, I mean that's football weather. You know, I'm just saying like if you rolled around in that mud, maybe we win like 40-2 or 47.
I can't wait to see them videos, man.
I'm way too old for that shit, man. I'm not doing that. When I saw that, this deplorable conditions. It was like fucking Haiti. No chance I was doing that shit.
That shit was I don't know. Movie,
just you didn't want it bad enough, I guess.
No. Yeah. I paid $73,000 for my seats. You think I was gonna fucking walk in mud?
I still can't fucking believe how many people took that seriously. Like you just took a picture of the listing.
Stupid.
You just took a picture of the listing on SeatGeek. It wasn't even like it was in your cart to check out or anything. It was like literally just like if you click view seat, that's what you took a picture of. People were like, Baltimore guy buys this. I stupidly made jokes in the comments about like, this isn't real, and people still fucking fell for it.
Yeah, especially when the news,
including the news,
they cut that shit up way more than they should have.
You know why? Because during the interview, they were like, "So, what's your prediction for the game?" I was like, "Well, why don't you listen to the podcast?" I was like, "You could get my predictions on the podcast."
I love the clip. There was a point where you were like leaning forward like this, so you could see the zone 32 over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one point. There was one point in the interview where I said zone 32 like, I don't know, 12 times in 10 seconds, and so he was like, "What are your predictions?" I was like, "Well, if you listen to episode 95 of Zone 32 podcast, which can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else where podcasts can be found this week, available, it came out this morning, then you would know what my prediction is, but I'll give it to you." I was like, my pick is 31-24. I was like, would you like my parlay? I was like,
I feel like, people talk about the media is, the enemy of the people. The fact that, like, I feel like it's public information what gets sold. Like, there's a way to figure that out. I'm sure they have contacts at SeatGeek. The fact that nobody SeatGeek is like, hey, did somebody spend $73,000 on fucking tickets?
Right.
Bizarre. And it was so I first made fun of that some British dipshit. Actually, he's not British. He lives in Brooklyn, but posted on like Daily Mail UK. And I was actually Googling tickets for us to buy to see if I could like find anything cheaper. And because I was having an argument with somebody else, the whole backstory to that. Still alive, so it hasn't come to any kind of negative fruition. But looking it up, and literally like the third result for Ravens tickets is Ravens super fans spent $73,000 on tickets, and I'm like, this can't be Will, right? And I fucking click on the story, and it's just your fucking tweet, and I'm like, there is no way. I had an opportunity to pull off a troll like that, and I called an ESPN producer a bad word and was not allowed on the air. But
that shit was all on Facebook, yo. People, I was reading the comments, yo. They was like, "How the fuck he?" I'm like, I just wanted to comment, like, "Yo, that's my man's." It was a fucking joke. Like,
well, I loved your Robin Hood explanation too, Will. I told Will to do the gambling thing, because that just like popped in my head. And then you're like, yeah, I was like, I won all this money on a bet. Like, why not just fucking buy the most expensive ticket and take it off the market so the common people could buy like a cheaper ticket? I was like, that's a great fucking move. Just the fact that people bought that is bizarre to me.
Well, the funniest thing was, it was getting a lot of attention around here where I live, because there's this thing called the MoCo show. So it's Montgomery County. So like anything Montgomery County
show.
So MoCo shows like a news aggregator, but then it's like a blog, right? But
so it's like the Dove Kleiman of Montgomery County.
Exactly right. Yeah. So they picked it up because of the CBS Baltimore thing, right? Because it said Montgomery County man pays $73,000, right? So they picked that thing up, and then they embedded it, and then so there was people arguing, and then they put it on Facebook, so it gets huge numbers on Facebook. Yeah, and there's people arguing, and right. So then it's like it gets huge numbers on Facebook. So then there's people arguing. So some lady was like, "He's just a clout chaser," and then it was like somebody argued with that lady, like, "No, not a clout chaser. It's real." It was just like these people were fucking arguing with each other. And the best part was that there was people that I knew that were arguing and not knowing it was me. Like, but they were like arguing. They were like shitting on me, not knowing it was me. It was fucking hilarious.
Fucking wild that entire thing happened.
Yeah, that was the funniest shit, man.
And then there were some people who did know me, who realized it was me, who thought that I had like a brain tumor, and it was like a bucket list. My bucket list. I was dying, and like I was just like spending like my life insurance money.
Which I mean is not a well. Given how the game turned out, that would have been a bad bucket list item for you.
Yeah. I was like I was stealing money from my daughter.
Glad you ain't bet all that on the Ravens to win.
I mean, I've had a lot of good sports experiences. I've been kind of blessed with, where I work and the people that I've met there. Like I went on the field after the Red Sox won in 2013. I was getting serious like FOMO until the Ravens started losing. I'm like, I would have been in prison. Like there's no shot. because I would have been coming down solo. I would be like, I would have fought a Chiefs fan. It would have been a whole nonsense. I would have probably like fucking stomped his face.
Oh, you talking about Sunday?
Yeah. I was gonna come. I was gonna come by myself, and I was like, yeah.
I'm glad you didn't come because it
would have been bad.
It was a whole bunch of Chief fans. It was like about 30 of them motherfuckers, boy. And you know how the other Raven fans was. They was ready to go. I said, oh shit.
Yeah, but see, the
like
problem
Pacheco uncle or some shit was talking shit to me or some shit.
Problem is like if you caught me like 2 Miller Lights in, I'd be like, okay, you're gay. Like I don't really care. But like, fucking 5 Miller Lights in, I'm not responsible for my own actions at that point.
Hey,
I ain't gonna lie, I was ready.
I typically have a chaperone.
I want to wrap up the summary from my time with Trippy though to say that next season we need to do a full Zone 32, all of us at a game together.
I'm gonna guarantee
I'll save money and I'll come out there.
I'm gonna guarantee this without.
I thought we was gonna do a away game. We gotta do a home and away game together.
All right.
Lil Key is gonna perform at our tailgate. So
yes,
there you go,
dude. Lil Key is the podcast, so. The nicest fucking guy I've ever met in my life.
And
for real.
You actually like his music, which was funny.
For real. Oh,
I had some shit going on yesterday, and I was just getting a random text from Will of Spotify links to Lil Key songs. I was like, I already listened to all these. He's actually good.
I was deep in the catalog. He's really good.
Well, like how this is dumb to say, but like rappers typically like kind of suck when they start, and then they kind of find their own groove. Like he's not put out bad songs.
I was all the way back to.
Look, I told y'all, right? Look, I used to watch the show called Rap Game, right? That's how I knew him, cause like you watch little kids, they want to be rappers and shit. And I think it was him and the other girl, D Trinata. They both D Trinata, I think she from like Edgewood or some shit, Harford County, but. Lil Key, I always wanted him to win. You feel me? Like, cause and matter of fact, don't you know the other girl? So you know Angel Reese, right? But there's another dark-skinned girl, number 4. What's her name? Flood something.
Yeah, the one who her mother was fighting with Angel Reese.
Yeah, her.
Instagram,
look, she was on the show too with him. That's how he know her. You feel me? But I just always liked this flow for real. You feel me? Then when I found out he was a Ravens fan, then I'm like, damn, so that song, I'm always gonna promote that shit. And then he always do his little Raven shit, like that shit he did, the little shit. Well, he been doing that shit for a minute. I think he started doing that like last year, if I'm not mistaken. So like, I just like the shit he do for real. Like,
yeah, we need we need to do next year. We need to get all of us out there and do all of us at once on the Who You With, like at one time.
Yeah. I mean, there are content creators that the Ravens should be behind. I would say Lil Key is, and they can kick somebody else out who goes by a different name. Who not a fan of not a fan of yours truly, but maybe switch them out. Lil Key's a lot better. So might go by the name.
Who you talking about?
Yeah, Kid Gowie.
I hate that fucking guy.
If you ever want to see living rent free in somebody's head, all I have to do is tweet him the screenshot of that one tweet, and he fucking loses his mind.
He a cool dude to me. I don't know.
He is such a fucking sellout. He is.
I just feel like some people think they are better or something. That's all. But
he thinks he put out a fucking 8-minute video, and I watched like a minute and a half of it, and I was just like, all right, this is a good time to make fun of him because I was in a bad mood. I've been in a bad mood all week because the Ravens lost, so. Actually, this morning I was like feeling better, and then I went into Dunkin' Donuts and I ordered a black cold brew, and the woman looked me dead in the face and said iced or hot. And I'm like, all right, so it's gonna be one of those kind of days, like 6:30 in the morning. I was like, yep, I'm pissed off again. So I was just looking for my next victim on the internet, and he posts this fucking 6-minute long video telling you how to be a fan and shit. I'm like, all right, fuck this guy. All I had to do is
because he's for the people, bro. He worked for the Ravens.
Yeah, he's not for the people. That's what pisses me off. He's fucking in the Under Armour suite, talking about like, can't fire Harbaugh and the Chiefs are great. Like, it's disgusting. Stop doing that. Fuck the Chiefs. We should have won that game. I guess to get back to the actual game breakdown, like there was no reason that we should not have won that game. If I told you before that game that we held Patrick Mahomes to 17 points and none of them came in the second half, we'd be thinking it was like a fucking 40-17 win that we blew their fucking doors off, and it just didn't happen.
You can't hold them to 17 points and lose the fucking game. That's nah.
Yo, did y'all see the video with Ronnie? Yo, he was going through it, yo. That shit had me going through it.
With who?
Good. Go through it somewhere else. Oh, Stubby.
Oh no.
Oh.
Trippy hasn't realized that Ronnie's not his real name yet, so I haven't corrected him. But
well, I call him Ronnie.
Yeah,
Ronnie's
Ronnie's his white trash Dundalk character. His actual name is Stubby. But
that's the only bright spot I ever experienced whenever we lose, because those videos are still really fucking funny. Otherwise, bullshit.
He said we were supposed to be going to the fucking Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, he's great.
You suck balls. Like,
we really need. I don't know who we need to get in contact with. We need like a 30-second Trippy and Roddy video. Like, immediately. Yep. Probably heal the internet. We could probably move on to like draft shit and not wallowing in self-pity. It fucking sucks losing games like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just, fucking like after we lost on Sunday, I just like sat downstairs in my basement. I'm like, why? Like, why do teams hate my mental health this much? I mean, I want like the Red Sox ownership dead. They've just fucking like pissed in my face for like 6 years, and I was just like, why do all my sports teams hate me at this point? Michigan finally didn't hate me this year. I was like, oh, shit's looking up. Fucking Bruins fuck with my emotions every year. Celtics fuck with my emotions every year. I was like, oh, this is finally fucking Harbaugh year. Jim wins it all at Michigan. Ravens are gonna win it all, and just nope. Just fuck you, Drew.
Hey, Drew, you know what's crazy though, y'all? I mean,
what?
A loss is still hurt, right? But I would have rather us lose by like a game-winning field goal instead of the way how we played. You get what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, but you get what I'm saying though, because like you said, if we would have knew Pat Mahomes would have scored 17 total points and all that came in the first quarter, and
right, like if it was like crazy. It was like I don't know, like a 30-27 loss, and it was a shootout the whole game, and it just came down to, Chiefs won the coin toss and they got the ball last or whatever the fuck it was. Like, I could cope with that better, but this one was just like we literally sucked for the entire fucking game. And if Zay Flowers doesn't fumble, we probably win that game. We were at the end there, and I was just like, we're down 17-10, like a fucking stop here, and we might win it. Grant said right before that third down to MVS. MVS had a great tweet after the game, but I didn't want to retweet it because it was too soon. But he posted a picture of Chiefsaholic and said, we went into the bank. I was like, that's a fucking great tweet. But yeah, Grant said right before that, they're going to pass on third down. And I was sitting there, I was like, they are, and fucking Kyle Hamilton's going to pick the shit off and we're going to win in overtime. And it just every turn.
That was the same similar play he did in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, like, credit to the Chiefs, they won. They did enough to win that game, but like we should have had that shit.
But see,
that should have been. We should be in the Super Bowl. We should be talking about playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl right now.
But I don't want to praise the Chiefs too much though, right? But the way how the Chiefs, like, they've been to 5-6 straight AFC Championship game, right? And like, no matter how shitty they played, right? Like, I hate to say it, when it comes to the postseason, they show up and
they find a way to win.
I'm looking forward to the regular season, but I'm more looking forward to the postseason because it's like we can always
we're at that point of we can go 10-7 or 11-6, whatever gets us in the playoffs. Like, that's fine. Yeah, and it's all about what happens in the playoffs.
What we gonna do? Because I look at it like this, right? All right, let's go back to the 2019 season, right? All right, we lost to the Titans in the divisional round. What we do the next year? It seemed like our revenge was just basically getting our revenge back on the Titans. Then we beat the Titans. We lose to the Bills. Then the following year, I think Lamar got hurt. The next year, Lamar got hurt. And then we played the Bengals. Now this year, what everybody kept saying, oh, Lamar can't get past the divisional round. Now we finally did that. Now people might be saying, you know what people are going to be saying next year? Well, all right.
Lamar can't get past Mahomes.
What people going to be saying? Oh, we can't get past the AFC Championship. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lesson learned, but I'm just like, this shit going, it's going to take me a while to get over this, probably to like draft day, because like we had the complete team, like, and there was no way we should have lost this. But like I said, I mean, I'm not going to count week 18 because, the starters weren't playing. But like the three L's that we had this year was basically because we beat ourselves. You feel me? The same shit. And we did the same shit in the AFC Championship game. And I'm pretty sure they're going to learn from this shit, but it's like when we gonna stop doing the same dumbass shit? You get what I'm saying? Because it's like
I don't remember if it was Will, Grant, or me that said it first on the podcast, but it was like the Ravens' worst enemy is themselves.
Oh yeah,
and
I remember you said that.
Yeah, that came true. And I mean, Grant has said it all year. Will has said it all year. I've said it all year. Like, this was a good fucking football team. I don't like the the purple tinted glasses take of like, oh, we'll be back there next year. You never know what's going to happen next year. It's not a promise, but at the same time, like, I trust the front office is going to put a winner out there. I trust that whatever happens with the coaching staff is going to happen, and we'll figure it out. And my whole thing is like, I just hate that, like, we're never going to have the 2023 team again. We're never going to have, we got Jadeveon Clowney for literally fucking nickels. We got Ronald Darby for fucking nothing. We got, Arthur Mollett for nothing. We got Kyle Van Noy, off his fucking couch week 5. We had all these guys come in that were just, we I don't know if suckered Odell into coming is the right word, but like, that was EDC's biggest knock, is that he couldn't go get a wide receiver. And then he went and got Odell and Zay Flowers in the same offseason. Lamar was going to leave, was the whole talk last year, and Lamar doesn't want to be here anymore. And, we're fucked for 40 years because, we let the best thing in franchise history walk. And then all of a sudden that contract gets done. Like, just everything seemed to come up Ravens until the AFC Championship game. And it's like a fucking tough pill to swallow. It sucked. It sucked watching it happen. And like, you knew it was going to happen too. It wasn't like it was it wasn't a tough loss, like Trippy said. It wasn't a fucking walk-off field goal or some shit where, like, one play didn't go our way and we lost. Like, we got our asses kicked for 60 fucking minutes. It was never – we played ourselves out of every opportunity that we had.
Defense showed up. Offense ain't show up.
Right. And, all year we said the Ravens play their A game and nobody can beat them. And they played an A game on defense, but they played a fucking F game on offense. I mean, 6 fucking
F
carries.
Plus.
Like, can you
six
fucking carries? 6 fucking carries for our running backs is fucking absurd.
Then when Gus get that one carry, like, they don't go back to him. Even Gus tweeted out, man, this hurt. Like, come on, man.
They should have had 6 on a drive. Like,
yes. We played that game like we were down 21-0 and we were down 7 points. And it's just like, why? Like, why do we keep fucking doing this? Stop panicking, John. You've won a fucking Super Bowl.
So let me ask you this question, though, Drew. Well, I already know what you're probably going to say, though, but somebody woke this up in a space yesterday. I'm not big on the getting rid of Harbaugh. I would love for him to step down, but we got to see some type of change because we got to see, like, is it Harbaugh or is it Lamar? Now, I'm not saying it's nothing against Lamar, but you get what I'm saying, though, because
you're in that weird spot of, like, Lamar is the quarterback. Lamar is the guy in charge of the offense. He paid him all that money. And, like, some blame has to fall on him.
Finally given him more responsibility.
Right. I don't know what the right number is because I didn't hear the play calls. I don't know exactly what happened in the huddle every time. I don't know if it's 10%. I don't know if it's 40%, whatever the fuck it is. But you're right. We've had 2 constants in all these fucking ugly playoff showings. And it's been Harbaugh or Lamar. And so it's got to be you got to figure out who it is and fix the problem. And I would also say that as, John Harbaugh is your coach, he's supposed to be your leader. Like, he's got to be the guy that steps in and stops the bleeding. And that's what bothers me the most is not – I mean, the game plan sucked balls. It didn't work. It was fucking stupid to only run the ball 6 times with our running backs. Like, fine, you can have all that criticism of him. But, like, end of the day, we all watched the same fucking game. Ravens were out there. The offense was fucking hemorrhaging, like just dying of self-inflicted wounds. And your leader, your CEO, didn't step in and stop the bleeding.
That shit was stale. I'm sorry. The offense was stale. And y'all wait to the biggest game in Ravens history to put on that performance.
The Chiefs have an elite secondary. Like, McDuffie and Snead are fucking good. I mean, McDuffie was an all-pro. L'Jarius Sneed, you can look through his season and he was locking down top wide receivers, and your game plan is to come out and be pass happy. Like, why?
Who the fuck okayed that? Their corners.
Right. Like, why are we throwing the ball there? And, their weakness is that they only have one Chris Jones on the defensive line, so you can just run the ball away from him. The rest of their defensive line is pretty pedestrian. They had injuries at the fucking linebacker level. They had injuries they were dealing with at the safety level. Like, it just seemed like a no-brainer to run two tight ends all game. And again, people are talking about Mark Andrews like threw off the flow of the game. What did he play? 20 snaps, maybe? I think. I'm not even sure that he had.
Bro, what was the point? But what was the point of him even playing? I love Mark Andrews to death, but what was the point of him even playing if
because
he wasn't
he's your all-pro tight end, and like you can't not add that to your roster. It's the same thing as you guys are talking about. Dalvin Cook was there and didn't get any carries, didn't get any snaps. Like you'd be a fucking moron to have Mark Andrews ready to play and not play. So I'm okay with him being there. I'm okay. I also understand that he hadn't played football since November. And so he wasn't going to be ready for a full workload. But, like, when you put him on the field for those 20 snaps, I think he only had 2 targets. Like, get him the goddamn ball. It's the same thing, fucking, I don't know if you remember, like.
Get creative.
What was it, 04? I think Terrell Owens, like, snapped his leg the same way that Mark Andrews did. Came back and played in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. And was killing.
Because, when he was on the field, they were throwing him the fucking ball. He couldn't play every snap. His fucking leg was not the same thing. He hadn't taken contact in months. But, like, when he was out there, they made sure to throw him the fucking ball. And I don't know why you don't throw Mark Andrews the fucking ball. Isaiah Likely's great, and it shouldn't be a who's tight end 2 situation. It should be a how can we make this Gronk and Hernandez without one of our guys being a fucking serial killer. Like that should be the discussion, not a fucking who's going to get more snaps and who's going to get more targets. Get them both the fucking ball. They're both fucking good at football.
You see what the Bills do? You see what the Bills do?
Yeah, with Kincaid
we're
and
Knox and Kincaid now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, and that's how the NFL is moving towards too. Is that if you have 2 tight ends, like you can kind of that's kind of the name of football. Is that like Grant said, you can sit in the stands and look at what defensive coverages people are coming out in, and you can see what offensive sets they're running, but it's all about being able to pass out of run heavy sets and, run out of passing sets. Like that's how you win football games, is that you show one thing and then actually run something else. And like we had the ultimate weapon there we had Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely on the field at the same time. We couldn't fucking take advantage of it.
We would have destroyed them with power football. Them.
That's factual.
Should we do a music picks?
We can. I mean,
Marvin's Room, Drake.
I'm torn between either Mad World by Gary Jules. You remember Gears of War, the fucking trailer, that sad ass song, or In the End by Linkin Park. I'm going In the End by Linkin Park.
I'm going with the song by Wiz Khalifa. It's been a long day.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's how I feel. That's how the season feels. So that's my song selection. Dang.
And who is it, Grant or Will that gets the last one?
Hold on. Wiz Khalifa.
See You Again, I think is what it's called.
See You Again.
Yeah, Marvin's Room, Drake fits the mood. Sad songs.
Damn, we can't even do no more sports betting, man. That's crazy.
Nope. It's a wrap.
Dude, I tried to so I accidentally opted into an NBA profit boost, and I just tried to do like something that was easy, right? And it was like KD had just I think like 2 days in a row had gone over 40. So I bet him to go over 25, and he had 12 points.
Was that last night?
Oh.
It was last week. It's like I cannot.
I took him for 25,
I can't hit a
20.
fucking NBA bet. I'm never touching basketball again. Fuck basketball.
I'm gonna tell you what to do, right? Well, you gotta do a live bet, bro. But then again, that don't even matter, bro, because I took the motherfucker for 25 points. He had 19 points going into the second half. Motherfucker only had 19 points.
Linkin Park in the end, right, Jake?
Yep, that's correct. Taking it back to 2001.
Grant, are you asleep?
No, I'm here.
Or what do you got?
I don't even know, man. I had some
plans. Man, Grant was shedding some tears, Grant. I know. It still hurt, bro. I'm hurt with you, bro. I'm hurt with you. Damn, this shit hurt, yo.
Can we just play funeral music?
Yeah, just have Max Google funeral music.
Yeah.
Well, like
play taps.
Play
taps.
Like the Undertaker theme song or some shit.
Yeah, the Undertaker theme song.
He bumped that whenever I came in the middle of the stream. I like that.
All right. Well,
depressing end of the year.
I've been doing my research. I'm doing Lil Key straight.
All right.
There you go.
We'll probably do some Super Bowl props next week, but
definitely we'll have some bets next week for sure.
Well, yeah, I already got me a nice ticket. Mm-hmm.
And next week I think our music can be a little bit more uplifting.
Yeah.
I think we'd be remiss. I think we'd be remiss not to mention that the Orioles were purchased today by a billionaire and Cal Ripken trash. Trash. We will still be trash. We won 101 games.
How many playoff games?
We got swept in the playoffs. The Ravens won 13 games.
Do you know that this man bought the team, owns the Magna Carta? He owns the Magna Carta, a historical document.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
You don't know what the Magna Carta is?
That's the document that set up.
That's the Jay-Z album,
basically, but it's in England or whatever. Happened like 1215. Dude held the king, I think King John or whatever, at gunpoint. Be like, yo, sign this fucking document or I'm gonna kill you. And he signed the document. Set up the House of Lords and House of Commons, if I remember right. I could be wrong in my history. I believe it was a document
between Spain and England.
Okay, yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is you guys are gonna pay Adley Rutschman $35 million a year, and it's gonna ruin your whole franchise because you're not gonna go out and sign pitching. That's the problem. I've said this in baseball. You need to have enough offense to win 95 games in the regular season, and it all comes down to pitching in the postseason. And until the Orioles go out and pay 2 pitchers, if Grayson Rodriguez even works out, I don't know. I'm sure he's like fine, but you don't have pitching. That's why the Red Sox lose. That's why I want John Henry's head on a stick outside of Fenway Park, because he doesn't fucking pay for pitching. And when he does pay for pitching,
what are you basing this on? You're basing this on what you have seen in the past.
How many World Series have you watched the Orioles win since the 80s? None. I'm telling you,
the guy bought the team today. You have nothing to base this on.
What pitching are you going to go
buy?
He bought
it today.
What pitching are you going to go buy? None.
He bought the team today.
I am telling you that from a baseball standpoint, they don't give away pitching like that.
He bought the team today.
I am telling you, the players that you need to buy are not going to be available. It has nothing to do with who's in charge.
Doesn't matter. Guess what,
Of course
Drew?
it matters.
He bought the team today. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series this year. He didn't buy it to own the team for 1 year.
I'm telling you that in the next 10 years, they're not going to be able to go buy an ace starting pitcher.
Yeah. There's not going to be any pitchers available for the next 10 years.
They're not going to come to fucking Baltimore. None of you guys go to games. You have a fucking trash franchise.
This is ridiculous. He bought the team today.
These are fucking losers. You're a loser franchise. You've been a loser.
Oh my God! What a fucking idiot! What an idiot!
Nobody goes to games. Nobody goes to games.
Nobody goes
cares
to games.
About the Orioles.
This is coming from the guy whose team didn't win a fucking World Series for 86 fucking years.
Can you count this high? Can you count this high? That's 4.
Yeah, and guess what? They won those after being a loser franchise for 86 years.
07, 2013, 2018.
After 86 years.
A top five moment in your franchise history since you've won the last World Series is that you ruined a game 162 for a team that was going to make the playoffs. That's pathetic.
Okay, and guess
Sad
what?
Franchise.
The only reason that
Sad franchise.
And the only reason that you're enjoying the success is because your team sucked for 86 years and now they're good.
No, it's because they went out and bought pitching to win championships.
Right, and guess what? Now we have a very rich Jewish man who will go and buy pitching.
Well, we're off Apple. We're off Apple. We're off Spotify.
I'd say
just like he buys historical documents.
We'll be back next week to discuss the Super Bowl that doesn't feature the Ravens
and pitchers.
Meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
That death was about as bad as the Ravens.
That's exactly how. That's exactly how.
That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. Just
Zone 32.